Okay, if you don't have this top thing on a scrap paper, you need to get that right now. I know some of y'all are using the scrap paper from last week, which is awesome, but if you have a new scrap paper, you need this at the top of your paper right now. You also need these words that say wimpy. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are wimpy numbers. In fact, I'm going to add like the hashtag sign for numbers. These are wimpy numbers. But over here, hefty numbers are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are hefty numbers. So you need every bit of that. This is all in your notes. You're going to use this all day long today. Hefty numbers and wimpy numbers. And then you need the tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. And ones, tens, and hundreds. Okay, when you get that written, look at me so I know that we're ready to go. Okay, all day long, we're rounding. Yes. So let's just go ahead and mark off 1 and 2, and we're going to start on number 3. Okay, so they've started by underlining a number for you. Sometimes they will, let me see your eyes. Sometimes they will underline the number, sometimes they won't. Sometimes you'll have to figure out the place that they're wanting you to round to. But they're starting off by giving you every number that they want you to round to underline. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to look next door, going to the right. Okay, you're going to look next door, so put your pencil on 5. Now, what do you know about 5? Now, look at your notes. Is it a wimpy number, or is 5 a hefty number? Hefty number. That means it has enough power. So pretend like it's trying to push this 6. Like I see this as like a big rock. And this 5 does have enough power because it's a hefty number. And it's going to push this 6 over to the next number. And what would that the next number after 6 be?
7.
7. So the 1 stays the same. Everything in front stays the same. But the 6 does change to a 7.
It's a great day for school at CMS. Let's all stand, face the flag, and place our hands over our hearts for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It is now time for the moment of silence. You may choose to reflect, meditate, pray, or engage in any other silent activity that does not interfere with others. The moment of silence shall begin now. In the cafeteria today, we'll be having pig in a blanket, mac and cheese, green beans, fruit, and milk. Picture Day is this Wednesday, the 23rd. Order forms will go home today, or you can order online. CMS is having an online book fair. Papers went home Monday. You can stop by the library for a copy of the link.
Good morning, students. If you get a loaner Chromebook from the library, please make sure you return it by the end of the day. If for some reason your Chromebook is being repaired and you need to take that loaner home for homework purposes, it needs to be cleared through the office. Thank you.
Have a Tiger Day, and good luck, softball girls against
eyes all day long. I don't want to see the top of your heads. So we all agreed that that 5 was a hefty number. And we all agreed that it had enough power to move that 6 over. And so the 6 became a 7. The 1 in front of it stayed the same. Now we got to figure out what we do with the numbers behind. Everything behind the line all just changes to 0. So you would put a decimal and a 0. Now let's talk about that. You don't really even need that 0 at the end of that decimal. Because you remember, what's this number? 17. Let's pretend like this is money. What's this number?
$17.
What's this number?
$17.
It's exactly the same thing, isn't it? So you don't really even need the decimal and the 0 at the end. So on this, if you want to write your number like that, great. If you don't want the decimal and 0 at the end, great. They're both the exact same answer. You don't have to have the decimal and 0 at the very end, okay? Now if it was this, 1 0, then you would need the decimal and the 1, but you could take the 0 away. Do you understand that? But this just has a decimal and a 0, so you don't have to have it. So let's look at number 4. They've underlined the 6. So Xander, I'm going to look next door at the 1. Is 1 a hefty number or is 1 a wimpy number, Xander? Wimpy. It does not have enough power to move that 6 over, so the 6 is just going to stay exactly where it is. Some kids think it goes back down. It doesn't. It just stays exactly like it is. So everything in front stays the same. It stays the same, but from the line to the end becomes 0. So what would I put here? Point 0. But do you really even need that point 0? So if you don't want it up there, you don't have to put it. What number's this?
56.
What number's this?
56.
See, you don't have to have it, okay? Let's keep going. Kiara, what about that 2? Does the 2 have enough power to push that 3 over, Kiara? No, why? Because it's a what kind of number? It's a wimpy number. So 1 stays the same. What do I do with that 3, Kiara? How am I going to change it? You just told me it didn't have enough power to push it over. Didn't you just say that? So the 3 stays the same. You can't change it if the number beside it doesn't have the power. You can't. But what does everything behind the 3 become, class? Zeros. But you know what? You don't even have to have the 0 on that either. If you don't want the 0, you don't have to. It's up to you. Number 6, Eric. The underlying digit is the 7, so I'm going to look at this 8. What do you know about that 8, Eric? It's hefty, so it does have enough power to change that 7, doesn't it? So the 4 and the 2 stays the same, and don't forget your decimal point. And what does that 7 become, Eric? 8. And what about any numbers behind that line, Eric? Zeros. So if you want to put that 0 at the end of the decimal, you can, but you don't have to, okay? Every bit of this should be refresher. You should have already learned this like in 3rd and 4th grade. Okay, Hope, let's come to you. What about this 2? Wimpy. So what's going to happen to that 5? If 2's wimpy, what's going to happen to it? It can't be pushed over, you're right. So what happens to my 1? Everything before the line does what, class? Everything before the line. Say it. Stays the same. So the 1 stays the same. The 6 stays the same. And since the 2 didn't have enough power to push the 5 over, the 5 stays the same. So what's the only thing that changes here? The 2 becomes a what?
0.
0. Xander, pay attention. Gosh, this is important. Because in a minute you're going to have to do some of this on your own. Caden, what about number 8? Does that 4 have enough power to push that 0 over, Caden? No. 4's kind of a wimpy number. It's almost a hefty number, but it's not, is it? So what happens with all the numbers before the line?
The 5 stays the same, the 8 stays the same, the 2 stays the same. And since the 4 can't move the 1, the 0 stays the same.
The 0 stays the same, and what happens to the 4?
It just turns to a 0.
It becomes a 0. But honestly, if you don't want that .00 at the end, if you'd rather it just look like this, that works too. 582 is the same as 582.00. Think about it like money. What's this amount of money? Say it loud.
582.
What's this in money?
582.
See how it's the exact same thing? So you don't really have to have that. But if you want it, you can. Ooh, this is a hard one. Let's see if I can pick on somebody that can even say this number correctly. Cooper, now you got to make sure where it lands, okay? And don't forget, I'm going to give you a huge hint. Only say and when you get to the decimal, okay? Let's see if Cooper can say it.
80,547 and 60.
How do you say 645? Say 645 all together. How do you say this number all together?
645.
How do you say that number?
645,000.
Yeah, 645 thousandths. Okay, let's say it together. 80,547 and 645 thousandths. Why did it land in the thousandths? Because there's 3 places to the right of the decimal, okay? But we're really dealing with this 4. So Colin, does this 5 have enough power to push that 4 over?
Yes.
It sure does. So what do I do with all these other numbers?
Same.
They all stay the same. So here we go. 80,547 point. I'll get you to that point. Then Colin can tell us what to do with the rest.
650.
You are exactly right. 650. The 5 caused that 4 to change to a 5. And from the line to the end, we want zeros. Unless you're kind of like me and don't want that 0 on the end. Is anybody thinking they're like me and doesn't want it? Or y'all like it? You like it or you don't?
I don't.
You don't? Okay, it's up to you. Okay, Bentley, you think you can say this big old long number? Try. Don't worry about the decimal yet. Just worry about that first number. How would you say that number? 1,000. Now say and. How do you say 949? 49 thousandths. Good job. Let's all say it together. Here we go. 135,701. What do you say now? And 949 thousandths. Do you know what somebody said last hour? This is what they said last hour. 135,701. Do you see the decimal anywhere right here?
No.
Where's the only place you're supposed to say and? When you get to the decimal. So 135,701 and listen what else they did. They said 949. Well, you can't just leave it 949. You have to tell us the place that it landed in. So you see what they did wrong? They should have said 949 thousandths. Okay, let's look next door. Jake Lee, does the 4 have enough power to push that 9? Is the 9 underlined or the 4? 9. Jake Lee, does the 4 have enough power to push that 9 over? Is it a wimpy number or a hefty number? Wimpy. So what do I do with all these numbers in front, Jake Lee? They say the same. So tell me what to write. 135. 701. Point. What do I do after the line? 0, 0. Or really, you don't even have to have those numbers if you don't want them. Okay, that's up to you. Okay, let's keep going. In 11 through 14, round each decimal to the nearest whole number. I'm going to give you a huge hint. Whole number means the ones place. So write that on your worksheet. That's a huge hint. Whole number means the ones place.
Oh.
Now, if you'll look at your cheat sheet, find your decimal on your cheat sheet. Where's the ones place?
About what?
Left of it.
Right in front of it, isn't it? Going to the left. So on every one of these problems, find your decimal on number 11. Where would the ones place be? The 4 or the 5? 4. Underline that. On number 12, find your decimal. Where would the ones place be?
7.
7. On number 13, find your decimal. Xander, where would the ones place be on 13?
4.
Okay, you're not Xander, okay?
4.
Sorry.
Brooklyn, on number 14, where would the ones place be?
5.
5, good job. Okay, so you should have all these numbers underlined because you know the nearest whole number is the ones place. So let's see, Luke, we'll start with you. Look next door. Does the 5 have enough power to push that 4 over?
Yep.
So what's our new number then?
5.0.
Yes, 5.0 or just plain 5 if you want it to be. Number 12, Brooklyn. What about that 3? Does the 3 have enough power to push the 7 over? No, because it's a what kind of number? Wimpy. So if it can't move it, then what is the new number?
It's 57.3.
No, remember, after the line, everything becomes a 0. Remember?
0.
Yeah, 57.0. Okay, you know what? I'm going to leave the rest for you to do on your own. Turn the page. The picture at the right shows the length of an average American alligator. Well, last hour we thought that was funny because we're like, how do we know he's from America? How do you know he's from America? How do you know that's an American alligator?
Because of the nose.
Really? Do you know this for a fact? Because they didn't know this last hour.
Alligators and crocodiles have different shaped noses.
Well, I'm not comparing alligators to crocodiles. That's not what I'm asking. I want to know, how is this American? How do I know that this alligator is from America? I like what you were saying, but you were saying that's how you know the difference in an alligator and a crocodile. That's not what I'm asking. I want to know, how do I know that he's from America? I just think that's funny. How do we know that he's from America, Luke?
To see if we know any American crocodiles there?
If he knows what?
Any American crocodiles?
Any American? How would you know? I'm serious. How do we know he's from America?
I'm just guessing.
You're just
because
guessing?
I feel like it's like the way of their skin, like how.
Okay, you think it has something to do with their outside skin or something? That's how they know you're from America? Or we could draw an American flag off from him. Y'all want to do that? You want to make him American?
Yeah.
Let's do this. Come on, Xander. Now we know he's from America. For real, how do we know he's an American alligator? If you had an alligator from Asia and an alligator from America, how would you know that one was American? How would we know? We don't know. Okay, here we go. Okay, that was supposed to be fun. Y'all are supposed to wake up and laugh a little bit, okay? We're on what? Get your pens on what? What is the length of the alligator? What does this say? Rounded to where? 10. Eric, I need your help. I need to know over here, the 10th spot. If you need to look at your cheat sheet, now's a good time to look at your cheat sheet. What number? The 3. I agree. Everybody underline that 3. Okay, Hope, take it from there. There's the 10th spot. Now we got to round. Tell me what to do. You haven't rounded yet. Somebody tell me what to do. Got to round. Tell me what to do.
Alright, you need to look over to the 9.
Okay, look over to the 9. What do you know about that 9, Mr. Caden?
The 9 is a hefty number.
It is a hefty number. So class, if it's a hefty number, what happens?
It's
It goes
higher.
You go higher. So what happens to my 4? The 4 stays the same, but what happens to my 3, class? It turns to a 4. And what happens to every number after that line? Tell me.
It
It turns to a 0. But you really don't have to have that 0 right there. But if you want it, you can. And this is meters, so I'm going to put a little bitty M. Number 20. Name 2 different numbers. You should probably circle the word 2. That round to 8.21 when rounded to the nearest hundredth. You should probably underline hundredth spot. Okay, and after you do that, put your pencils down and look up here. Okay, I need my answer to be this. This is my final answer. So I gotta come up with two numbers, and I gotta round to the hundredth spot, which means I'm gonna have to have a number in the thousandth spot, because if you're gonna round to this number, you gotta be able to look next door. Don't y'all agree? So I gotta come up with a number that's got 1, 2, 3 places after the decimal, and after it rounds, it ends up 8.21. So I'm just gonna throw out a number and see what y'all think, okay? All eyes on me. I'm gonna do it up here by this American alligator. 8.765. I just made this up, okay? I just made it up. What are we rounding to? What does it say? 100. Where's my hundredth spot? Here's my decimal. How many places over to my hundredth spot? Okay, here's my decimal. This would be my hundredth spot. Do y'all agree?
No.
What do you not agree with that? You don't think that's my hundredth spot?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Okay, what is this 5 gonna do to this 6, class? Say it. It's gonna round it up. What happens to this? Say the same. What happens to this? What happens to this? 7. And what happens to this? 0, which I don't really need. Okay? So did that number, when I rounded to the nearest hundredth, end up at 8.21?
No.
In fact, what do we know about that?
Not even close.
It's kind of too high, isn't it? That's what I was, not even close, kind of too high. Do you have a better suggestion? I thought you were raising your hand. Somebody throw out a number, because I don't like my number. You got a idea? 2 what? 2, 4? 1. Okay, let's see if we like his answer. What are we rounding to right here? Hundredths. Would this be the hundredth spot?
No.
Would this be the hundredth spot?
No.
Actually, what's this spot?
Thousands.
Thousands. Would this be the hundredth spot?
No.
What place is that?
10.
Would this be the hundredth spot?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm going to underline it. Now I'm going to look next door. Class, what do you know about the number 1? It's wimpy. So what's going to happen to this 4? What happens to the 8? What happens to the 2? What happens to the 4? What happens to the 1? 0, which I don't really need. Okay, I like Colin's answer because it's a lot closer, but did it end up at 8.21? No, but he's getting closer. I want to hear from a girl. Okay, Hope, Jake Lee, Brooklyn, or Bentley. I want to hear from one of you. Okay, Hope, are you looking at her? Think of a number. What? Okay, guess it's gonna be Brooklyn. 1, 3. Here we go. What are we rounding to? The nearest what? Hundredths. Is this a hundredths?
No.
Is this a hundredths?
No.
Is this a hundredths?
Yes.
Yes. Now I'm gonna look next door. What do you know about 3? It's a wimpy number. So does it have enough power to move this over? No. So what happens to this? Stays. What happens to this? What happens to this? What happens to this? But do I really need that 0? No. So did Brooklyn's number end up being 8.21? Yes. So there's one choice. Good job, Brooklyn. Her number was 8.213. Then I need a semicolon. Okay, I'm going to give you something that, hold on, I'm going to make it be something. It has to start with this. It has to start with this. So what number has to go here? I should ask the question. This is the place we're underlining. So what number has to go there? Could a 0 go here?
No.
Guess what's the 0 gonna do to that 0?
Make it the
Could a 1 go here?
No.
Why?
same.
Because it's a wimpy number. What has to go there? I got a couple of choices. Bentley? Could a 6 go there?
Yes.
Why? What's that 6 gonna do to that? Change it to 1. Then that's a good answer. 8.206. Okay, we're kind of doing the same thing. Okay, you gotta think a little bit, and I'm not giving you the answers. To the nearest, does this say hundredths? What does it say this time? Hundred. So look at your cheat sheet, find your decimal. Where's the hundred place? It's before the decimal, isn't it? Before. Okay, what is the greatest whole number? That rounds to 2,500, and the least whole number that rounds to 2,500. So here we go. I'm just gonna throw out a number. It might be right, it might be wrong. Okay, eyes up here, pencils down, eyes up here. 2,364. Okay, and what place am I rounding to? Say it.
100.
Is this the 100?
No.
Because the decimal would be right here. Okay, this would be like the number with the decimal. Okay, but what did I tell you about those decimals and zeros?
Don't need them.
You don't really need them. Okay, so is this the 100?
No.
Is this the 100?
No.
Speak up. What would this place be?
Ten.
Ones. Is
Oh,
this the 100?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm gonna look next door. What do you know about this 6?
It's a
It's a hefty number. So what's gonna happen to that 3? It's
It's
gonna turn to a 4. So what happens to my 2?
It stays the same.
2,
4.
4, 0, 0. Did that end up as that?
No.
No, so I need something bigger. Kiara, I want to hear from you. Throw out a number. Let's see if it'll change to 2,500. $2,500. Speak up, I can't hear you. 02, okay? What place am I rounding to, class? Hundreds. Where's the hundreds? Under the 5. Like next door. What's that 0 going to do to that 5?
Nothing.
Nothing. So what happens to this?
Stays the
Stay the same. What happens to this?
Stays the same.
What happens to these two numbers?
0.
Okay, did that, whoa, don't write yet. Did that become that?
Yes.
But that's not the question. Is it the greatest number that would cause it to stay at that? Because look what's going to happen. I'll go 1 higher than her. Did the 0 still cause that to stay at a 5?
Yes.
Did those still stay zeros?
Yeah.
So I even went higher than her. Wonder if someone can go higher than me. I got to go as high as I can until I have the highest number that'll round to 2,500. Colin, you think you know? 1,000. 100. I promise you can go higher than that. You can go higher than that. 2,500.
4.
40.
0.
40. Let's see. Let's see if we like his answer. Is this the hundreds place?
Yes.
Yeah. What do we know about this 4? Is it hefty or is it wimpy?
Wimpy.
Wimpy. So what's going to happen to that 5?
It stays the same.
Stays the same. So what happens to my 2?
Stays the same.
What happens to my 5?
Stays the
Stays the
same.
same. What happens to these numbers?
0.
Did that end up as that?
Yes.
But can I go higher here? Yeah, I can. Yep. Luke? Say 2,000. Well, it can't be 600. That's already too high. Yeah, it can't be 600. 500. What's going to happen to that 6? Is the 6 going to cause that to bump up? Yeah, so that won't work because that's going to be too high. It can't be 66. It can't be. You think you know?
2, 5, 4, 9.
I think I like where he's talking. Now, here we go. Will the 4 change that?
No.
No, it'll stay the same. So what do you know about this 2?
It stays the same.
Stay the same. What do you know about this 5?
It stays the same.
What do you know about this?
It turns to 0.
0. What do you know about this?
0.
Okay, what would one number higher than this be? What, 2,549? 2,550. Let's watch. 2,550. What happens to my hundreds place? Is the 5 going to cause that to stay the same?
No.
It's going to cause it to move up, isn't it? So
Yeah.
Colin, pick the greatest number. There's your first answer. 2,549. Now, I need to hear from some girls. The boys do all the talking. Because I'm not done. I had to find the greatest number. Now what do I have to find? The least number. Okay, girls, throw me out something. It's got to be the smallest number that if you're not a girl, that if I round to 2,500. So Kiara, let's just start with you. Throw me out a number. 1, 2. Okay, I like your answer. Here's the hundreds place. Is everybody watching? What does that 1 do to that 5? Stays the same because it's a what kind of number? Wimpy. What happens to my 2? What happens to my 5? What happens to these numbers? Turn to 0. I like her answer, but is it the least? What's one number smaller than this?
13.
That would be higher. If this is 512, what would one number smaller be? 11. Let's see if anything changes. Did that still cause that to stay at a 5?
Yes.
Did those still change to zeros? Oh, I can go way lower. I'm listening to girls. Like, Jake Lee, give me a number. $100. Okay, she said 2,512, and I said she could go way lower. 10? That's not way lower. Okay, here we go. What do you know about the 1? What's that going to do to the 5? Stay the same. So what happens to my 2?
Stays the same.
What happens to my 5?
Stays the same.
What happens to the rest of these?
Turns to 0.
Can I go lower? What if I change this? What's 1 lower than 10? 9. Let's see what happens. Y'all aren't going low enough. Okay. What if that 0, what's that 0 going to do to this 5? Nothing. And are those going to change to zeros? I'm telling you, you can go way lower. You can go lower. You can go lower. Oh, I like where you're going with this. Keep going. Okay, let's see. Let's see what happens. Where's the hundreds place? Is this hundreds?
No.
Is this the hundreds?
No.
Is this the hundreds?
No.
Is this the hundreds?
Yes.
Is that 9 going to cause that to bump up to a 5? Yeah, so this stays the same. That changes to a 5. What happens to these two numbers? Zeros. Can I go lower than 2,498? You can go way lower. Tell me one, Eric.
2,499.
You just went higher. Our last number was 2,498, wasn't it? You can go lower than that.
2,450.
Oh, he might be onto something. Where's my hundreds place? Is this my hundreds place?
No.
Is this my hundreds place? Is this my hundreds place? Is this my hundreds place?
Yes.
What's the 5 going to do to that 4? Bump it up. What happens to my 2? Stays. What happens to this? 5. What happens to these?
0.
Okay, I like where he's going. Now let's try to go one number lower than Caden. What's one number lower than 2,450? What would that be? 2,449. Here's my hundreds place. Is that going to cause that to bump up to a 5? No, there's your answer. Good job, Caden. But I don't like it that it was just a few people helping me. Number 22. Draw all the lines of symmetry in the figure shown below. Symmetry means how can I cut it in half so you get the same size piece as I get. So anybody want to come up and do this? Okay. Bentley? Oh, you do or you don't? Okay. And there's a couple of different ways. I'm giving you heads up. There's a couple of different ways. So let's pretend like this is like a candy bar and you and I are going to share it, okay? Make it be exactly the same on both sides. Okay, do y'all agree that if that line was perfectly straight, do you agree that that's the same? Okay, draw that on your paper. Okay, can you see another place? Okay, now step back and let them see that. Do y'all agree that she would get the top half and I would get the bottom half? Does that look fair? Okay, there's one more way. Do y'all agree that that's the same on both sides?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, 23. Emma needs 2 pounds of ground beef meat to make a meatloaf. She has one package with 2.36 pounds. Now circle that. Now that is pounds of meat, but you know what that looks just like to me? What does that look like to you? Money. Let's think about it like money, okay? And she has another package with 2.09 pounds of ground meat. So we got 2 packages. And the recipe calls just for 2 pounds, okay? This is more than 2 pounds, this is more than 2 pounds. She uses rounding and finds that both packages are close to 2 pounds. She wants to know the package that's the closest to 2 pounds. So if you'll think about this like money, what does that look like in money? $2.36. What does this look like in money? And 9 cents. Which one of those is closest to $2? There's your answer, $2.09, which is really not money. It's actually pounds, and that's how you abbreviate pounds, LBS. That's the one that's the closest, the LBS. Number 24, Robert slices a large loaf of bread and he makes 12 sandwiches. That's important information. I put a square around that. Three are turkey. Circle 3 turkey. 5 are veggie. I'm going to put a square around 5 veggie. And this is the important part. The rest are ham. The rest are ham. Now, it wants you to write these in fractions. So I'm going to kind of put squiggly lines under fractions. Which ones are ham? Okay, now after you do that, let's talk. In a fraction, do you remember this? The top number is out of the bottom number, remember? So if like there's a 1 on top and a 10 on bottom, we would say 1 out of 10. So let's start with the turkey sandwiches. How many turkey sandwiches did he make? He made 3 out of 12. So there's your first answer. 3 out of 12 was for turkey. So Xander, now I need your help on veggie sandwiches. If he made 3 out of 12 turkey, how many veggies did he make? Look, 3 turkeys out of 12 sandwiches. 3 turkeys out of 12. Now what about veggies? 5? Is that a fraction? Is 5 a fraction? Has to be like a fraction. Has to be like a fraction. Tell him.
5 out of 12.
5 out of 12. We just did it for the turkey one. Now guess what we're going to have to figure out? The ham. We already know it's out of 12, so put their fraction out of 12. So far, how many sandwiches has he made so far? 3 turkey and 5 veggie would be how many sandwiches? 8. And how many are total? 12. So how many does that leave for ham? Say it. 4. 4 out of 12 ham. Number 25. After buying school supplies, Ruby had $32 left over. Would leftover, okay, let's think about this. Would leftover be the money she started with or that she ended with? Ended with. So over here, put equals $32. That's what she ended with. She spent $4 on notebooks, $18 on a backpack, $30 on a new calculator. Now here's the question. Get your pencil on how. How much money, and they're wanting you to use an M for that, did Ruby start with? Where would the M go? Is it over here at the end? Is it in the middle? Or is it over here at the beginning? Why would you say the beginning?
It just said start with.
Because it said start with. That's the missing information. We don't know. Now, I want you to think about something. I got all this money, but I spent some money, and I spent some more money, and I spent some more money. So what needs to go right here? An addition sign or a subtraction sign? Subtract. Addition?
Yeah, it's
If I go buy something, that means money gets put in my pocket or money goes out of my pocket? Out.
Right.
Okay. Now, how much money did I spend? Hope, tell me how much money I spent. Who can tell me how much money I spent? Okay. Okay, just throw out some numbers. $4 on notebooks. Write this on your scrap paper. Hope, tell me what I spent. Honey, that's not all she spent. That was on notebooks.
Oh, 18 on
$18. Tell me what else.
$30.
And $30. Okay, add all those up. This is how much money she spent. And we'll see what Jekyll gets. What'd you get? Say it again. $52? I can't hear what you're saying. Say it again. You might have said it right. I just didn't hear you. 50? 50. Do y'all agree?
No.
8 and 4 is 12. 3, 4, 5. I agree. $52. I just couldn't hear her. Okay, so how much did she spend altogether? She spent $52. Now that goes here. Now, after you get that written, let's talk about it. Okay, let's talk about it. What did M stand for right here? And don't say M stands for money. Okay? M stands for what here?
The amount.
What she started with. And we don't know the answer to that. That's why we put a letter there. Put your hand down. This is what we started with. What is this money? Say it. Say it. What is this money? What is it?
$52.
What is it? How much? No, she started with this, and we don't know what she started with. How much she spent? What is this money? What she left over. So what do we gotta find? This. So tell me what to do.
$52 plus 32.
Okay, please do that on your paper. And when you get your answer, put M equals and put your answer. What'd you get, Hope?
84.
$84. Do y'all agree with her answer? $84? Okay, put it by M equals. Okay, last one. And I'm not doing it with you, but I'm giving you some hints, okay? Number 26 says find two numbers. You should circle the word 2. That round to 35.4 when you round to the nearest tenth. Underline tenth. Okay, find your cheat sheet. Find your decimal. Where's the 10th spot? 1, which direction?
Right?
To the right. So on these, in this box, find your decimal and go over to the right one place and underline every one of those places because that's the 10th spot. Now what you're going to do is you're going to round every one of those. And here's the answer that you want to get. Look real quick because I'm not going to do this for you. Look real quick. When you round this, if you get 35.4, then that's your answer in the box. But if it's not your answer in the box, mark that off and go to the next one. You're looking for 35.4. Got it? Say got it. Okay, look what you have due tomorrow. Practice Buddies 1-5 is due tomorrow. I gave you last week to work on that, and I said I didn't want to give it to you over the weekend, but it's due tomorrow, okay? Go.